Welcome back to Secondhand Confessions. This is
Welcome.
Mickey.
Oh,
Okay, I'll do it again. Welcome back to Secondhand Confessions, everyone. This is Mickey.
and this is Pugly.
We love having you back every week. Thank you for tuning in. We have some great stories for you today, some great discussions that Pugly has chosen out for us.
And also an announcement that this may or may not make it out in time for the weekly release, just depending on what my availability is to edit the episode. So sorry in advance if we don't make it on time.
Oh, Pugly's so busy this week, you guys. And also, I kept rescheduling.
I rescheduled once as well, so it's partially my fault, but mostly Mickey's.
Um, Folks out there, is everybody down or is it just me? I'm just like having a hard time.
Hey, girl, I'm with ya.
Oh, wow, that was an immediate answer.
Oh, sorry. Should I have paused more?
No,
Let me
it's okay.
reflect on that.
Hmm.
Hmm. You know, I think I might agree.
Thank you, folks out there.
Yeah. We're happy to support you in your journey of, not feeling well.
Okay, whatever. I'm dead. You're tired. I'm tired. Are you tired?
I'm a little tired and a
Yeah.
little tipsy.
Oh,
Should I have admitted that during this holy season?
that's fine. You can do whatever you want.
I don't fast usually. Sorry. I have clinical conditions that require imminent treatment.
That's okay. You're also not an observer of the religion.
You're right.
Oh my god. Excuse me.
Bless.
Ooh,
Bless ya.
I also have clinical conditions apparently. And honestly, even wait, I didn't have COVID when it was Ramadan, right? No, it was like literally the week before. That was my last dose of Paxlovid, the first day. But that the first day of fasting, I was my last day of Paxlovid in the morning, and it sucked because I couldn't like even drink water for the yucky taste in my mouth. It was just like disgusting bitter all day. It was nasty, but it was fine. We persevered.
Yep. Good for us.
Um, you wanna hear a funny story today?
Oh yeah. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I've been waiting all day for this.
it literally just happened. What do you mean?
I've been waiting 15 minutes for this.
So I was just at my parents' and they recently moved, so they're getting, new furniture and, the movers or the delivery people, sorry, brought some furniture in, and one of them was this, like, young man, and he at some point while the older man was, like, talking to my mom and getting her to sign the like receipt or whatever, the younger guy, he came up to me and he was like, "You're really pretty, by the way." And I was like, "Thank you." He seemed young too, so I was like, that's all I said. I was like, "Thank you." Um, and then he went outside and he came back and the other guy and my mom were still talking. So he was like, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?" And I was like, "I'm 30." And I laughed because I knew he was, like, younger than me, and he looked stupefied. He was like, "Oh." And I was like,
How could I go for an older woman?
"No, no, listen." I was like, how old are you?" And he was like, I'm 19."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Oh my god." Jesus.
Well, that's a
And
bold move for a 19-year-old to be like, "You're really
yeah.
pretty."
Yeah, no, and not older men, but, like, men of my age, learn. Learn from this young man, this young gentleman. Anyway, but he was like, what did he say? Oh yeah, so he's like, "I'm 19," and, he kinda was, like, quiet for a few minutes, and then he, like, looked at me, and he was like, "It's illegal." And I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
I wasn't gonna go for it, like, uh
It's not illegal, but it is questionable.
yeah, but he was like, "It's illegal," and he shrugged as if to say, like, "I'm sorry, like, that's why I'm not gonna
Pursue
ask
it.
you out or whatever." And I was like, "Okay." Okay.
Hey, he's got a job, he's got guts, he's
Yeah.
got it all.
Yeah, he's got reason.
He's got reason? Yeah, he has
Yeah.
good logic there. Good
He
man.
he's got, adolescent acne.
So you could tell he was on the younger side then.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I could tell he was young. I didn't know how old because I was like, "Surely, like, he's a delivery guy." Like, I thought he was, like, mid-20s or
Well,
something, but
he's got a client with good skincare routines available for him, so, uh
I do have a good skincare routine.
but I'm saying for him if he wants to use that knowledge and expertise.
You know, I could have shared, but I thought it would be rude to point out.
Yeah, probably
Yes.
so. Hey, by the way, have you ever thought about, what is that brand that you like so much?
No, we're not gonna talk about brands until we get paid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No sponsors here.
No, but, like, his acne was the kind where it's like, I just know, like, just washing his face would, like,
Cure it.
do him wonders. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's how you can tell he's young. He's a
Yeah.
young
I'm
boy.
so lucky. I never really went through a phase like that. Like, I've
Oh
gotten,
my
like,
god.
acne, like, little pimples here and there, but never a full face full of
Yeah.
yeah,
Knock on wood, girl.
really.
No, I definitely went through it. I don't know, like, mid-20s, you remember? Like, my face just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like, blew up. It was like trenches. Like, I did not know what was happening. Okay, it wasn't trenches, actually, like, thankfully, I didn't have any, like, ice pick scars or anything, which, that's fine, they're beautiful too, but, I was worried about that. But I have hyperpigmentation, but I think it's mostly faded, like, I'm working on it.
Well, good.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's our topic for the day, Pugly?
There is no topic today. It's just miscellaneous.
It's free for all, miscellaneous Monday.
Miscellaneous Monday.
It's Monday today, by the way.
Well, one story that I wanted to try out was do you wanna read it, actually? It's been a while since I read any of these stories, so I don't really we're both gonna be new to them.
Okay, yeah. This is from the Too Hot Take subreddit, and it's from a user named Jurassic Snark. Am I the asshole? My roommate doesn't want to live with me again after I watched Jurassic Park movies while his girlfriend was at our apartment. Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Really have no idea where this is going.
Yeah.
Did his girlfriend fall in love with one of the main characters or something? Like, what is it?
Yeah, that's an
Mhm.
idea.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and read. So he says, I, 22 male, am finishing up my last year of college and live with my best friend, 23 male. He has a girlfriend, 20 female, that he's been with for about 6 months. She is pretty shy, and whenever she's at our apartment, they are pretty much always just hanging out in my friend's room. They will very rarely hang out in common areas for extended periods of time. So, suffice to say that even though I've known her for half a year, I know very little about her and wouldn't say I know her very well personally. This past weekend, I was scrolling through Netflix to find something to put on in the background while I study for finals. I found The Land Before Time, which was one of my favorite movies growing up because my older brother used to always play it for me when he babysat me. So I turned it on and just kind of had it on. My roommate and his girlfriend came by, and my roommate noticed the movie I was watching. He commented that he hadn't seen it in years since he was a kid. He asked his girlfriend if she's ever seen it, and she said no. She said that she wasn't allowed to watch any movies with dinosaurs because her religion doesn't believe in them and believe that their fossils were put in the ground by God as a test. Needless to say, I was caught off guard. Damn, what religion is
Mhm.
this?
I have no idea.
Of course, I had a million questions, but for some reason, my brain went towards dinosaur movies instead of her religion. I asked, that's so funny. Like, I asked if she had seen any of the Jurassic Park movies, and she said no. I told her some of them are really good and suggested we have a dinosaur movie marathon. She said she doesn't want to watch any movie that goes against her beliefs. I just said okay and didn't push it, and they quickly retreated back to my roommate's room.
Hmm.
But it did kind of make me want to watch Jurassic Park movies. I have the first two on Blu-ray, so I found those and started watching them. Neither my roommate nor his girlfriend came out of the room much the rest of the day except for to get something from the kitchen or to go to the bathroom. After I finished the second movie, I left to meet up with some friends. I stayed at a friend's place that night after drinking, and when I got back to my place, my roommate immediately laid into me. He said that I was very disrespectful to his girlfriend by playing Jurassic Park movies immediately after she told me it goes against her religious beliefs. He said I made her very uncomfortable and that they both agree I did it on purpose to mock her beliefs. I told him I don't care at all about her beliefs and that all I did was watch movies in my own place. I told him it's not my problem what her religious beliefs are, and if she gets upset about dinosaur movies, then I'm honestly kind of surprised she can go through day to day life without having an existential breakdown. He told me that he doesn't want to live with me again after our lease is up at the end of the month. We had already been looking at renewing our lease or finding a new place, but I think they are seriously overreacting.
Interesting.
Ooh, this is a weird one.
What are you thinking here?
So I think it's weird to just want to move out over such a small incident.
I mean, she wasn't even like participating in the watching of the movies.
Yeah.
So she wasn't really exposed to the movies.
No, she wasn't. But think about like if you were in that situation. Like, would you immediately start watching Jurassic Park?
Me?
Yeah.
Like if I were who?
If you were the main guy. Mhm.
The OP? Um, you know, it wouldn't no. Like I can think of this like I'm trying to think of this in terms that I understand because the dinosaurs thing is not resonating with what I know to be,
Yeah.
although I did look it up on ChatGPT and it says that certain young Earth creationist groups reject the mainstream scientific understanding of dinosaurs. They believe that the Earth is only about 6,000 to 10,000 years old, which contradicts the fossil record dating dinosaurs to millions of years ago. So, anyways, that's probably the religion that she's subscribing to here. But I'm
Mhm.
thinking, like, what if this was like porn?
That's a good one.
Yeah. So, like, and someone like comes in and they're like, it's against my religion to watch porn.
Mhm.
And then, like, the guy is like, oh, yeah, I understand that. Like, what kind of porn have you seen? Have you seen this kind of porn? Have you seen this kind of porn? Like, and like, she's like rejecting all attempts at conversation on this front.
Uh-huh.
And then he just goes straight into watching porn.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is a little bit weird,
Yeah.
Go do it in your room if you're going to do it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good metaphor. Obviously, porn has more of a stigma,
Yeah.
like, generally,
Hmm.
but, like, at the same time, I think that's a very good metaphor for it. Like
It doesn't really capture like the way I feel about this because I do feel like he has full rights to watch dinosaurs in his own living situation, whether it's in the common area or not.
mhm.
But I do think it would be more appropriate and like more socially acceptable for him to take this to his own room.
Yeah, and also just, like, more considerate. Like, I do think it's weird to, like, not watch dinosaur movies just because you don't believe they're real. I think that. Like, I watched Harry Potter all the time, but, just to be more considerate, like, you don't know her, so what? Like, she's still a person. Like, I don't know. I think so many people, like, get into so much shit over their lifetimes, and I'm talking about, like, super, open people and super conservative people get so much shit because they're not considerate. Like, just be considerate, and you could have avoided this whole situation. Not saying she's, like, right to, like, not be watching movies just because she doesn't believe dinosaurs exist, and not saying that the roommate should immediately be like, "I'm moving out," like,
Hmm.
that's like that I think that is an overreaction, but
Yeah.
I do think they're all young, obviously, especially the girl, she's just 20,
Yeah.
and for him, like, he just doesn't know how to tell his roommate, the OP, like, "That was rude of you." Like, he doesn't know how to just say that and, like, have a conversation rather than, like, immediately go into consequences.
Well, another thing that I'm worrying about or thinking about here, given that this is probably a young Earth creationist group that she's, belonging to in terms of her religion, is how acceptable is it then for your religion in your religion to go back to your boyfriend's room all night and spend all night in his room doing
I don't
nothing but
know.
coming out only to go to the bathroom and to get a few things? Like, they're probably
Uh,
sleeping together.
Probably, but I don't. Do they
Is
do
that
that
against her
in?
religion?
I don't know. I don't know anything about her religion. I mean, we're not sure that it's the Earth creationists or whatever.
What do you think it would be?
Um, I don't know. I have no idea.
Mm.
I mean, a lot of religions don't believe like that the Earth is that old. But I don't know if people like reject the idea of dinosaurs like that. I've heard people say that like, oh, the carbon dating is not precise, and I'm like, okay, okay,
I think there's errors in all of science, regardless of the field.
yeah. But I just think like there's a certain type of consideration you can have for people's beliefs. Like people tell me all the time that they don't believe in God. I'm like, okay, or they tell me like they only believe in God, they don't believe in evolution. And I'm like, okay, like, but I'm not gonna like start putting like an evolutionary documentary like which when they just told me like they don't believe in evolution or like try to convince them that evolution is real. Like I think in some part of this guy's head like he was trying to like be, you know, kind of like, okay, I'm gonna you don't believe in dinosaurs, I'm gonna put a dinosaur movie. But like it's Jurassic Park, like
Yeah, it's not real. And The Land Before Time is even less real, so
yeah. Yeah, although he was watching it before they came home, and that's all within his right, and okay, finish the movie, like, you don't have to stop watching it just because she came to your house, but,
yeah.
like, for you to double down and have, like, a dinosaur movie marathon, like, come on. Like, you coulda watched it any other day.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, I agree.
Yeah,
That there's less tact in this approach, I think, than
yeah.
if he had just postponed this for another day.
Yeah, I mean, they're young, again, like, they don't know how to deal with this, they're young, they don't know that, like, you don't have to necessarily believe all the same beliefs as everyone you know.
Mhm. Well, I think we can agree then, based on, like, what we've read and what we've heard, that the conclusion is that they just need to have a conversation, he and the roommate,
Yeah.
about, like, it was kind of rude of you to do that. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
move out because of it, but I wish that you would maybe be a little more considerate going forward.
Yeah, absolutely, like, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Let's not ruin the friendship over this.
Yeah. I think most people were saying that he's not the asshole and that he's dodging a bullet. Someone said she needs to touch grass, and if she's fucking your roommate, she's already gone against her religion. Damn.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, all of these things are true. Apparently, she also refused to watch the Harry Potter movies with him when they first started dating.
Dude, the limitations here have got to be endless.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say is, like, I agree with all these people. She's stupid. She's stupid. Her boyfriend is stupid. But also the OP is stupid. Like, just be considerate. That's what I don't like about Reddit comments. They're all like, "Yeah, you're dodging a bullet. He's a piece of trash." Like, okay, come on. Come on. Like, let's wake up. Like, yeah, this person is not very smart, but how are you gonna like ever convince him that or his girlfriend that like this is kind of silly to like avoid all things magic and dinosaurs just because you don't believe it's real? Like, come on. How are you going to do that if you're like literally like getting them on the defensive and like, okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
you guys are stupid. Oh, okay. What is that going to solve?
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. What's our next story?
This one is titled, Am I the Asshole for Wanting My Daughter's Boyfriend slash soon to be fiance to know her dark secret before marriage?
Ooh.
All right, this one was posted in the Am I the Asshole subreddit on May 21st, 2019.
Okay.
So the OP says, I'm the dad of a 25-year-old young woman who I love very much. I've been able to have a good relationship with my daughter, and I enjoy my time with her, but there's one thing about her that would give many people pause. She is a diagnosed sociopath. She exhibited odd, disturbing behavior at a young age, and after a serious incident of abuse toward her younger sister, I realized she needed professional help. Throughout her elementary years, she struggled heavily, getting in lots of trouble in school for lying, cruelty, and other types of misbehaviors. With an enormous amount of therapy and support, her bad behavior was minimized as she grew older. She received an ASPD, which is an antisocial personality disorder, diagnosis at 18, and I had suspected it for long prior. After her aggressive behavior was tamed, her following years were much more fruitful. She's law abiding, has a decent job and a good education, and has many good friendships and admirers, especially male admirers. She is very, very charming and adept at attracting guys and maintaining their interest. She uses that old dating guide, The Rules, like a Bible. She currently has a boyfriend of about a year and a half who's crazy about her and who I have a very strong relationship with. We live in the same area and spend time together regularly. He is a great guy, very kind, funny, and intelligent, but I doubt she loves him. We've had some very honest, in depth conversations about her mental health since her diagnosis, and she's been open with me that she doesn't feel love or empathy towards anyone, even family. When she acted very sad and broken up over the death of one of her closest friends at the funeral, she confessed to me privately that it was all a put on, and that she felt pretty neutral about the whole thing. She has also stated that she has never once felt guilty about anything she's ever done and doesn't know what guilt feels like. While she enjoys being around her boyfriend and is sexually attracted to him, I highly doubt she feels much of anything towards him love wise. Her boyfriend, who might propose soon, has no idea about her diagnosis, and she's been very upfront with me that she has no plans to ever tell him, thinking it'll scare him away. I've made it clear to her that she needs to tell him the truth before they marry, that he has the right to know and consider it, or I will, to which she always responds, I know you wouldn't dare. I actually would. I really like and respect this young man and would feel awful keeping this secret from him and letting him walk into a marriage without this piece of knowledge. I'm not trying to sabotage my daughter's future. Maybe her boyfriend's love of her personality and other aspects is enough that it won't end the relationship. It's his decision to make, but he deserves all the facts. Someday he's bound to find out she's a bit off. It can't be kept a secret forever. Am I the asshole?
Yikes.
Yeah, that's a deep one there.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know that there's an answer that comes to me immediately.
Yeah, I do tend to err on the OP's side here because I just think everyone who goes into a marriage should have the full facts
Mhm.
as of the status quo, like where people are on terms of mental health
Mhm.
conditions. As somebody with a clinical condition.
Yeah, and not just mental health conditions, but, like, physical health conditions,
Yeah.
financial health, like, just all these things, yeah.
Like, I feel like there are certain aspects that people should know, be, privy to,
Mhm.
and you shouldn't be hiding from a potential lifelong partner.
Yeah.
Whether that's marriage material or not, like whether that you
Mhm.
intend to stay in just a relationship or marriage or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there are certain things that are obligations to tell your partner about at a certain point in the relationship.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree. Um, what do you think, like, is going through her mind? Like, I know she's scared, but what do you think?
So I think that might be where she's coming from, is like the sunken cost fallacy kind of mentality of like, oh, well, I've invested all this time in him. If he leaves me, then fuck that. Like that's a waste of my time. I don't know that fear is as much there as like
Yeah. But what like, sunken cost fallacy is, like, isn't it fear driven? Like, I'm scared that I'll lose a lot because I
I don't think it's like a fear of like I won't ever be able to find somebody else again.
Mhm.
I think it's a state of mind about I've invested this much time. I don't want to have wasted it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's a fear as
Okay.
much as it is
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I think she's confident she'll find somebody else. She's apparently very charismatic and like attracts a lot of men.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think he should tell him.
Yeah.
I think he should tell him.
That's where I'm leaning as well.
Yeah, like, I think he should give her a deadline. Say, like, "If you don't tell him by blah date,
Mhm.
I'll tell him." I'm worried she, like, kills him or something.
Maybe he should make a public announcement, like a PSA, like I am going to tell my daughter's fiance this on X date. If I die, it is because of my daughter.
Yeah. And, like, have it be a scheduled post or something.
But then again, maybe there's no fear on her part about the repercussions of that even.
Mm. I don't know.
I don't know if people with ASPD experience fear. I don't think that's a known phenomenon.
I don't really know much about ASPD, to be honest. Like, again, this is probably our second time saying this. Like, listeners with ASPD, let us know, what is it like? And like, please forgive us if we're being insensitive. But what's going on with y'all?
Yeah, just give us the rundown.
Mhm.
I do actually on TikTok, I do follow, or not follow, I've seen scrolling through on my For You page is a girl who claims to be diagnosed with ASPD,
Mhm.
just kind of having conversations about her experience with it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just such a strange thing to like explore, in my mind, like, because so much of human existence is based on how we feel emotions. Not only empathy for other people or for ourselves, but also, like you said, fear or sadness
Guilt.
or happiness or guilt. Yeah, like all these things drive us every day, and you know, they're such an integral part of the human existence. Like, I cannot even imagine what it's like to not really feel all these things.
Yeah, and it's kind of amazing to me that this dad can have such boundless love for his daughter when he knows that she can't reciprocate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like how you might have love for a pet, and you know that they love you, but only insofar as a pet can love you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. It's not, I don't know if it's equivalent to that, but I guess that's the closest analogy we can make
Yeah.
for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop you from loving them, that they love you less than you love them.
But if you knew they didn't love you at all, would you be as inclined to want to keep them as a pet?
Um, yep, I think so still, yeah. Like, I mean, as long as I was treated well by them, it's not like if I had a cat that was always, like, scratching me up in my sleep, like, no, I would not want that cat.
Yeah, but maybe this one, maybe the daughter would be that way if she knew that her dad confided in the fiance. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a risk. He's if he's willing to take it, I mean, all props to him,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be scared for myself.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty fearful in that case.
Yeah, no. I mean, I wish he gave us some more context about has anything like this ever happened in the past, like, where he's had to give her a boundary, and what has her reaction been to that?
Yeah.
Because 'Cause I'm curious to hear.
I don't know. There are some comments here. Someone said, "Wow, that's the hardest AITA I've read in a long time. You're ethically compromised either way. It's probably best you stay out of it." So that was Deleted's solution to the problem.
Mhm.
Any thoughts on that one?
Did they say, "Sorry, you're ethically okay to stay out of it?"
They said it's probably best you stay out of it.
Oh.
And it says you're ethically compromised either way.
Yeah.
I think if it were me, I tend to stay out of people's business. So I might, as the dad, I might refrain from doing what I want to do and just not tell him and hope he figures it out along the way at some point, hopefully before the marriage, but if not, at some point down the line.
But imagine if, like, they get married and, like, they live together for years and he, like,
Has kids.
even if they don't have kids, like, but
But if they
especially,
have kids, I feel like that's a worse. Yeah.
like, they spend years together, and then she starts showing more and more behaviors that kind of put him off, and he's like, "What's going on?" And she finally tells him, and he's like, he feels cheated, like, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" I don't think this is something that she should be able to hide from him before they get married, or, like, after they get married or whatever.
Maybe he should pay an actor to come into the life of the daughter's fiance or soon to be fiance and like befriend him.
Mhm.
And then he or she, the actor, can tell them, look, I've known your fiance since high school and she was diagnosed with ASPD back then. Or not in high school, but like in college, I guess. Because I don't think ASPD might require 18 or older.
I don't know about that one. That's giving that one wedding story we did.
Oh, the one with the one who hired the bad actor
Yeah. To
to
sleep
come in and cheat.
yeah, sleep with her sister's boyfriend who is a bad boyfriend. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think he should, maybe if they are as close as he says, and she doesn't respect the deadline he gives her, the boundary he gives her of like, you have to tell him before you guys get married, then I think he should pull him to the side and be like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, your upcoming wedding and everything. Have you guys talked about like your health? Have you talked about your financial statuses? Like, it's all important. It's so important to talk about all these things before you get married, you know, kind of subtly, and then, see where he's at with it. And then, you know, maybe kind of suggest, I think it is important for you guys to talk about some of these things. And then see gauge where he's at. Like, how aware is he of what's going on? Like, maybe he has had some inklings.
I'm also curious, like, what is the dad's goal? Like, is the goal to get the boyfriend to leave? Because it sounds like kind of from the post, that's the goal
I think that's
or the expectation, maybe.
I think that's what the daughter is afraid of, but I think the dad is like, he's especially qualified to see that his daughter is like, you know, worthy of love, because he loves her. So maybe he just wants to make sure that whoever does marry her, like, really wants to marry her, like,
Mm,
ASPD and all.
mhm.
Although,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that myself.
I don't either. Because I think I'd always be wondering, like, or always thinking, I'm putting in more effort in this relationship than my partner.
Yeah.
If that's what you're saying from that perspective, like, you don't think you could join into a relationship with somebody who was diagnosed with ASPD?
Well, someone who has a diagnosis can still put in a lot of effort. It's not about that. It's just about like, I love them more than they love me, which is like not at all.
I mean, and they're probably also that's gonna translate into effort, I feel like.
Yeah, maybe. Uh, or maybe it's someone who's very well adjusted and knows that, like, if you wanna keep being in this relationship, you have to put in effort, and so it's like, okay.
It's more of a transactional thing, though, at that point,
Yeah, it's transactional, yeah.
which I don't wanna think of my relationship as a transaction.
Yeah, yeah, like, anytime I felt that in the past, I've realized, like, this is not it for me. Like,
Yeah.
once it starts feeling transactional, it's like, "Oh, this is not someone who, like, you know, will really, like, loves me in the same way I love them." So, that's, like, I I don't think that's, like, very fun to do forever, but maybe he's, like, okay with it. I don't know. You think anyone would be okay with it?
I think some people are probably more tolerant of that kind of relationship, yeah. The girl that was on TikTok,
Mhm.
had a partner.
Wow.
Yeah, and she said she would say things like, "This is, like, one of the few people that I feel like I have some care for or some sense of caringness for."
Mhm.
And, like, it's, like, a deeper level of compassion towards this partner than towards other people, but it's still not at the level that you would expect of,
Yeah,
somebody without ASPD, I guess.
yeah. Makes sense.
So it's as much as they're capable of giving, which, that's a good thing.
Mhm. It is. Just depends on if it's enough for this guy, for this
Yeah.
boyfriend. Yeah.
And I guess he's deciding it is, like, at this point, without the knowledge of the ASPD, obviously, but, like,
Mhm.
if he's willing to get married to her, then I guess he's saying, "What you're giving me is enough for me."
Mhm. Yeah, and you'd think that long in he would know something is
How long did it say they had been dating?
like a year and a half, I think.
Mhm. Secret Savvy says, "Not the asshole. Holy crap. What an awful situation to be in. I know she's your daughter, but this is marriage for this guy, and he deserves to know. You already told her you were going to tell if she didn't, so I think you should." So it seems like there's conflicting advice here on this one. This one is like probably one of the most conflicted subreddits or threads that I've seen, or whatever they're called, posts, articles, whatever. But the verdict overall was not the asshole on this one, and I think we can agree with that much at least.
Yeah. Yeah, his heart's in the right place.
Yeah, I think he's trying to protect everybody involved as much as he can, which is a very valiant effort, I think.
Mhm. So what did the people say who said that, like, he shouldn't say that? He shouldn't, like, tell the guy?
They just said it's probably best you stay out of it.
Mhm.
December and July was another commenter. They said, simply for any future children they may have, I say not the asshole. If this guy wants kids, it's really going to suck to find out he is co-parenting with a sociopath. Also, is ASPD genetic? If so, he definitely deserves to know. And ChatGPT said, yes, antisocial personality disorder has a genetic component, but it is also influenced by environmental factors. Research suggests that ASPD is moderately to highly heritable, with studies estimating that genetics account for approximately 40 to 50% of the risk for developing the disorder. So that's a pretty high.
Yeah.
So I think that evidence kind of makes me lean towards maybe he should tell the guy if kids are part of their future planning.
Yeah, like if that's something they want. I mean, even if it's not, like, accidents happen and people decide, "You know what? I'm gonna stick with it." Like, you
Yeah.
think about that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But especially if they're planning to have children, I
Yeah.
think it helps weigh the costs in that direction.
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm saying right now, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a doozy. I think, like I said, his heart's in the right place, but maybe one more conversation with the daughter before he does anything.
One confirmation like, "Hey, I am definitely gonna tell him
Yeah.
on X date at X time if you don't before me."
Mhm.
And I'm not saying I'm not gonna tell him because I want him to break up with you. I'm just telling him so he has the full information
Yeah.
to do what he wants with it.
Yeah, like, reassure her, like, he wants her to be happy and
Yeah.
all that. Or happy, I don't know. Happy, whatever is.
I want you to be content.
Yeah.
Contentment, I think sometimes I strive more for contentment than I do happiness because I think contentment is like more pervasive. Is that the word? Contentment is more
I don't know what you're trying to say.
like, yeah, me neither. Sorry.
It's more sustainable, it's more.
I think it means it's more sustained,
Mm.
not sustainable. It's harder to sustain, but it is a longer form of happiness, I
Mhm.
feel like.
Mhm. Yeah. It's, it's also harder to, like, beat down contentness
Mhm.
out of someone, like, I think that's because it's just, like, a different form of happiness, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a long-term happiness.
Yeah, yeah. I am content. Would you say you're content with your life?
Not at all.
Mm, how much percent?
20%
Oh
content.
my god, that's abysmal.
I told you not at all. What did you expect?
Okay, what, you gotta change something about it. You gotta go out and garden or something.
Well, that's the plan. And do you mean that in the TikTok sense of
No, no. I actually didn't, but, I mean, to each their own.
I mean, I have my history with that, and it's not a good one, so
I literally meant gardening because you promised you'd help me garden this weekend.
I will.
Okay, good.
Any other final thoughts on this art I mean, fuck, this post?
No, I think he's doing his best. He seems like a good dad. Good on him, and good luck to him. I hope to hear an update, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me just look for an update just quickly, and there aren't any updates. He posted that 6 years ago, so I hope everything is all good with Paws 96 and his daughter, and even the fiance, if or husband or
boyfriend.
ex-lover, whatever they are.
Did he post anything since then or just not an update?
That was the only post he's ever had on his page.
She got him.
Wow, shots called. Literally.
Nah, I'm sure they had a very productive conversation, and they made an agreement, and they shook hands, and that was that.
All right, what are our final thoughts on this story?
My final thoughts, just for the day, just so you know, are, just that I already said my final thoughts. Why are you asking me again?
Because I want to end this podcast.
Oh, okay. So my final thoughts are good luck to dad.
Oh, and the Jurassic Park thing. What were your final thoughts on that
I
one?
don't know, just like, just
Watch privately.
watch privately. Like, I understand what a weird girl. I would talk shit about her all the time behind her back. I would, unfortunately.
So maybe the theme here is weird girls.
Weird girls. Yeah, yeah. I love weird girls.
That's the title of our
Yeah, I
episode.
think that's good. Yeah. No, there's an art to this. Like, this is fodder for your gossip sesh with the boys later. Don't fucking, like, mess up your roommate situation over this. You know what I mean? Like, just you guys shake hands, kiss, it'll all be all right. But like later you can go and tell your boys like, "Oh my god, yeah, my roommate, like his girlfriend has never seen Jurassic Park and she was so offended and like, whatever."
I hadn't seen Jurassic Park until probably 2 or 3 years ago.
I didn't know you were a creationist.
I was avoiding it for a long time because of my religion, but I converted to agnosticism.
Uh, that's the funniest thing. You were born agnostic. Like, come on.
I really was. I really
Yeah,
was.
you came out of the womb agnostic.
Yeah. Don't tell my mom.
I think she knows.
You think?
Yeah, come on.
We had a long conversation like a few Thanksgivings ago because my brother had to bring it up at the dinner table,
So, what was the long conversation that ensued?
that I was agnostic and had been for a while.
They didn't know this?
I never really announced it. It didn't seem like I needed a coming out for my fucking religious beliefs.
I mean, I just feel like your family is, like, more culturally religious than anything. So, I just feel like it wouldn't be a big deal.
My mom's pretty religious, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, she goes to church.
But I feel like she's more, like, religious, like, she's invested in the teachings, like, the positive teachings rather than, like, the Bible says, like, we can't have wine on Sundays.
Oh, well, like, she's not a literalist in that sense, no, she
Yeah.
doesn't believe in, like, a literal interpretation of the Bible, but that doesn't make her non-religious
Well,
or less
like,
religious.
so what if you don't believe in Jesus? Are you, like, was that bad to her?
I think she'd prefer that I do.
Oh, okay. So, like, her beliefs probably align with, like, salvation, Jesus's salvation or whatever.
This is a conversation for another
Yeah.
day. We're getting too much into the weeds here, and also it's almost your eating time,
Oh,
so
yeah. I gotta go make some bad rice because I don't know how to make rice.
before we go, though, what were your final thoughts?
Fuck you. I am so tired of sharing final thoughts. Why don't you share your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are that I love you guys for listening to us, and I really hope that you continue to do so, even if we don't release on a regular schedule.
Aw, I bet they will. They're good people.
And I hope that Mickey forgives me for asking for final thoughts multiple times this episode.
I hope Pugly forgives me for getting upset about it. No,
I don't.
I'm, happy you guys are listening in still as we, breach our contract of posting once a week, but, more to come next week.
More to come next week.
Y'all have a safe and happy weekend. Bye.
See ya.